It's that time of year again. NFL owners' meetings are here, and wow, what a difference a year can make. The Denver Broncos are experiencing a wave of positive changes, with good news pouring in from every direction. The vibes around head coach Sean Payton and owner Greg Penner are night and day compared to where we were last year. A year ago, the Broncos were reeling with the largest dead cap hit in NFL history, struggling without a solid quarterback, and had missed the playoffs for nearly a decade. Fast forward to today, and Sean Payton is confidently steering the ship, and it's clear that the team is heading in the right direction. We keep hearing about more players choosing to come to Denver and others deciding not to hold out. There's a genuine sense of trust building, and it's becoming clear that the Broncos are on the path to something special. This is shaping up to be one of the most exciting eras for Broncos fans, with a strong core in place. When this team eventually wins the Super Bowl with this group, it will hit differently because we've experienced rock bottom and are now on the rise. It's an incredible time to be a fan, and if you're new to this community, I'm Ben, a passionate Broncos fan, and if you love the team, hit that like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Now, Sean Payton had the chance to reflect on the progress today, and he definitely deserves a little victory lap. There were plenty of skeptics who compared him to John Gruden and questioned his ability to build a winning culture. But over the past two waves of free agency, we've seen something incredible. Players are choosing the Broncos even when they have bigger offers elsewhere. Sean was asked about this today, and he pointed out that Denver is now a team people want to play for. The Broncos have the richest ownership group in the NFL, enjoy 300 days of sunshine a year, and have a young quarterback with an untapped ceiling. The team made the playoffs last season despite lacking a running game and tight end, and the defense just keeps improving. Sean Payton's message was clear. Yes, we are a team that people want to join. This trend is only going to continue. The Broncos made a smart move by signing backup quarterback Sam Ehlinger, who previously played college football at Texas. It's exciting to see so many Texas players on the roster like Brandon Jones and PJ Locke, and now Sam joining the mix. Ehlinger had offers from other teams to be their backup quarterback, and some even considered him for a second-string role, but he chose Denver. It's a sign of the Broncos becoming a true destination for talent, something we haven't seen in a long time. There's even some chatter online that Ehlinger could take on a role similar to Taysom Hill, but I'm not sure about that. The only reason Sean Payton used Taysom Hill in that capacity in New Orleans was because Drew Brees was an immobile quarterback. We'll see how it all plays out, but one thing's for sure, the Broncos are becoming a place where players want to be, and that's a huge win for the franchise. I truly believe the Denver Broncos have a player with a Taysom Hill-like skill set in Bo Nix. His ability to run as a quarterback is something special, and honestly, I don't ever want to see him come off the field. Even if we had Taysom Hill on a veteran minimum contract, I wouldn't be thrilled about that because I want Bo Nix with the ball in his hands at all times. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Another exciting piece of news that came right before the NFL owners meeting is that Courtland Sutton is showing confidence in the Broncos' future. We know Sutton is in the final year of his guaranteed contract, and after this season, he'll be eligible for free agency. While he's hoping for a new deal, he's made it clear that he won't be holding out, unlike several other NFL receivers in similar situations. Last year, we saw players like Brandon Ayuk hold out, only to end up out of shape and injured. Courtland Sutton, on the other hand, is staying committed, and that's a great sign. It shows his belief in what Sean Payton is building in Denver and how special this team is, especially alongside players like Bo Nix. It's fantastic news that Sutton isn't holding out and will be there when the season starts. In addition to Sutton's commitment, we also heard from Broncos owner Greg Penner about his approach to this year's NFL free agency. He explained how each year brings different needs. When he first arrived, there were numerous holes to fill, so the Broncos went all in on strengthening the offensive and defensive lines. Last year, due to the Russell Wilson dead cap hit, the approach had to be more reserved. But this year, Penner described the strategy as very opportunistic. They identified specific needs and were able to fill them with elite talent. Penner and Sean Payton both used the word haul to describe this year's free agent class, which includes players like Evan Engram, Tashawn Gibson, and Dre Greenlaw. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that description. It's an outstanding group. The only caveat, of course, is the injury history some of these players have. All of them have dealt with injuries in recent seasons, but Payton expressed 100% confidence that they will all be ready to go for the start of the offseason program. The Broncos' medical staff has been completely revamped under Peyton, and if they're giving these players a clean bill of health, I have no doubt they'll be ready for the season. While people have been speculating about other potential additions, like Colson Loveland, who is recovering from shoulder surgery, the fact that Peyton and Penner are so confident in the health of the free agents they've already signed is really reassuring. If they say these guys will be ready, I have zero concerns. I'm beyond excited to see how this new free agent class pans out. And with that, we're left to reflect on last year's NFL ownership meeting. I remember clearly how it felt back then, frustrating, but looking back, it's incredible to see how far the Broncos have come. I honestly thought the Denver Broncos were going to draft J.J. McCarthy, and it seemed like they wanted us to think that too. I bet Sean Payton watched my video, gave it a like, and thought, haha, I've got Ben convinced that we're all in on J.J. McCarthy. He had Greg Penner go out and talk about how great the meeting with McCarthy was and how impressed they were with him. Time and time again, they kept talking him up, dropping McCarthy's name to make everyone, including the rest of the NFL, believe the Broncos were locked in on him. But of course, the Vikings ended up snagging him, and then Bo Nix fell right into our lap. We've got the receipts on this too. Jay Glazer mentioned that Sean Payton had called him, sounding like a paranoid wreck, asking if the Rams were going to target Bo Nix. Glazer reassured him that Nix was safe, so at this point it's clear that Sean Payton is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He's throwing out smoke screens to mislead other teams about who he really wants in this draft. Now, let's read between the lines a little as the Broncos start talking about their targets for this year's NFL draft. George Paton recently came out and said that the team will be targeting a running back, but he also mentioned that there's great depth at the position from the 2nd to the 6th round. Is he saying that because the Broncos truly don't intend to use their first-round pick, number 20 overall, on a running back? Or is he saying it to mislead the rest of the league into thinking they won't go that route, so other teams can start making their own moves, potentially letting a key player slide to them? I'm not entirely sure how to read into this. I can see both sides. I truly believe this draft class is stacked, and even Coach Payton has mentioned the incredible depth, particularly at running back. That could very well be the reality of the situation, or they could be making it seem like they're more focused on the draft's depth, only to swoop in and grab the guy they've had circled for a while in the first round. It's hard to say for sure, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Do you think the Broncos should gamble on waiting for a running back in the later rounds, or if they have a top-tier running back they want, should they take him with that first-round pick? I think it all depends on how the board shakes out and who's still available when it's time to pick. Either way, it's fun to think about how the Broncos are playing their cards right now. It feels like they're maneuvering in silence, like the G in lasagna. I could easily be fooled again by Sean Payton. He's done it before. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind being fooled again if it means the Broncos land the right player. We also heard both Paytons, Sean and George, speak glowingly about some players, including Hufanga, which shows just how much they're evaluating every angle in this draft. One player I'm especially excited about is Hufanga. He's the kind of player I wanted to hear more about. We've all seen plenty of Evan Engram's highlights, and I remember watching Dre Greenlaw in action too. But hearing the coaches rave about Hufanga in particular is incredibly promising. They've mentioned that all the players they've brought in this offseason are captain material, which is exactly what you want when you're building a young, hungry team. You want that college-like atmosphere where everyone is playing for each other. High-character players who not only lead but also bring elite skills to the field. That's the perfect mix. It wasn't that long ago when we signed Randy Gregory, despite his well-known character concerns. Back then we sort of ignored those issues, but now we're really focusing on bringing in players who exemplify strong leadership. Hufanga is a prime example of that. Sean Payton has been especially high on him, calling him tough and a great communicator. And we all know Hufanga is in the mold of Troy Polamalu. He's got the long hair, works out with Polamalu at camps, and plays with that same toughness and instinct. He's not just lurking around the ball. He's the first one to respond and make a play. If you watch his highlights, you can see exactly what Payton means. Take this screen pass, for example. Hufanga isn't waiting for the linebacker to make the hit. He's stepping up to be the first responder. The only time he's a secondary responder in these clips is when he's in the right place at the right time, showing off his great hands. But in every other play, you can see him initiating action, whether he's covering a tight end, lining up in the slot against a shifty receiver, or making a game-changing hit. Now, looking at the Broncos' defense, which was already top 5 last season, adding Greenlaw and Hufanga to the mix makes it clear we're on track to have the best defense in the entire NFL. That might sound bold, but I don't think it's a stretch. I truly believe it's a fact, not just an optimistic take from an excited Broncos fan. On a lighter note, I've got to talk about the Broncos' uniforms. My all-time favorite is definitely the throwback design, the one that brings back memories of falling in love with the team as a kid, with my dad's keychain reminding me of the iconic look. Well, great news. The Broncos have been given the green light to wear these throwback uniforms 4 times this season, and that's an awesome number. You don't want to overdo it so they don't lose their special charm, but wearing them for all of our AFC West home games would be amazing. Maybe throw one more big home game into the mix too. I think it would be fantastic to see them rock these uniforms a few times a year. So, what do you think? Which games would you love to see the Broncos wear these throwback uniforms for? Let me know in the comments. It's truly an exciting time to be a Denver Broncos fan. We've got a lot to look forward to, and I'm pumped to be along for the ride here in Broncos country.